All right, Ray. So YouTube has not been all fun and games for me and my wife. I've actually gotten kicked out of a dealership before with a salesman yelling at me, and I've got blacklisted from a major auction. We'll talk about the auction later on. I'll give the whole story, but I'll talk about the dealership first. So I was going into a dealership. This was back during COVID when prices were crazy, when we saw a lot of these market adjustments, add-ons, things like that. And I was going around a lot of the dealerships and showing what was going on at these dealerships. And there was a Nissan dealer.
Yeah,
That's comical in itself that a
yeah.
Nissan dealership would have a addendum on it, a $10,000 market adjustment on Nissan Rogues. Right? They can't give those things away now, and they had $10,000 on every one of their Rogues. And I showed this on the video, and the video blew up. I think it was one of the ones that we got like a million, 1.6 million, something, whatever views. So a few weeks later, I wanted to go back and do the update on this Nissan dealership because the market had started to turn down a little bit, and I was wanting to see if dealerships were adjusting with the market. I walk up on the dealership, and there's two salesmen out there. And as soon as I walk up to them, they're like, "Hey, yeah, we saw you on YouTube. We actually like your videos, cool." And I shook their hands, got to meet them, asked them what their names were, everything like that. We talked for a little bit, asked how sales were. They were good at that time, but they said they were trending down. So, and then I just started walking out to the lot. All of a sudden, another salesman comes running out of the sales floor. It says, "You got to get out of here. We're going to call the cops. You got to leave right now. You're lying about our dealership." And I said, "Man, I'm really literally just walking around showing prices. If you can tell me what I'm lying about, then I would absolutely correct it. No problem. No problem whatsoever. I'm showing you guys have markups, and if that's different, and then we can change it." And he just kept yelling and threatening to call the cops. And finally, his sales manager came out, got him to go back inside. Sales manager talked to me a little bit more calmly and said, "You know what? Just check our website. Check our website." I said, "Well, I can just check your cars right here because the prices are here." He said, "No, well, just you need to check our website. That's our real prices." And I'm like, "Well, I mean, I'm showing this stuff here because this is what you have advertised." And he was like, "Well, what if I come to your lot and show your cars?" I said, "Well, I mean, my prices, they're what it's the same on the website as it is on the car. So we can go do that if you want to. Actually, I do that all the time." But anyway, so eventually they said, "Okay, if you don't get out of here, we're going to call the cops. We don't want you to film here anymore." And that's fine. That's fine. No problem. But just going to all these different dealerships, I do run into sometimes there's dealerships that don't want me there, but usually it's the ones that are not doing the things the right way. They're not moving with the market. But 9 times out of 10, every one of these dealerships that I go to, all the salespeople, they like me. They'll talk to me. They'll show me what's going on, tell me what's going on as far as what's selling, what's not selling. And I've even got to talk to quite a few sales managers, and everything's been great. It's really free advertising for a lot of these dealerships when I'm going out there and showing prices. But
Absolutely.
obviously, the ones that have market adjustments, they don't want me there.
Yeah, I know when Zach and I were filming dealerships in and around the South Jersey, Philadelphia area, and there were a couple that, well, it was a Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. And a couple of them were owned by the same people, and one was closer to Philadelphia and one was closer to the shore where I am. And it was like, you're not allowed on our lots on Sundays anymore. We don't want you filming showing any of our vehicles, because every one of their vehicles it was either a $5,000 or $10,000 addendum on them, on stuff that was sitting. And it was, okay, if you don't want us doing it, we're fine with that. We won't come on your lot on a Sunday when you're closed, when anybody can walk around on your lot and do whatever the hell it is that we won't do that anymore. Because they didn't want us showing their addendum labels. And Zach used to always ask me, he said, "Well, why do you think they do that?" I said, "Because they're hoping somebody will see it and go, okay." That's the only reason they're doing it, is they're hoping the customer's dumb enough to say yes to it. And then if the customer's not, then the salesperson can say, "Well, what if we took the $5,000 dealer markup off? Would you buy it then?" "Oh, well, yeah, if you could save me that $5,000, well, there's probably another $5,000 that they could save you too." But this is part of the deceptive practices that some dealerships like to utilize. Hoping that a not so bright person walks in and just agrees to it. So I know there are dealer groups that have asked us to take their vehicles offline off of our site. And how do we get that information? Whatever they published, we were able to pull. He didn't want us doing it anymore. Okay, so we don't do it anymore. But yeah, there are any number of dealers, dealer groups, and consumers that hate us because of the clickbait titles and everything that one needs to utilize to get views in this world. And I get it. I do. We would prefer not to do that, but then again, we would prefer to be able to reach more people than fewer people. It's the way we look at it. If unfortunately we have to use a clickbait title so we can get more people to view it, but while they're viewing it, we are actually educating them, and that, in my mind, the benefit to the customer outweighs the negative of the clickbait title. I don't know. We're going to use the clickbait title to get more eyes so we can educate more people. I think that's pretty much what you do.
Yeah, I remember when y'all were going to the dealerships, and I remember thinking, you guys get a lot more blowback from these dealerships than I did. I've only had really one issue with that one dealership. Now I've got another one that I go to that I really like. It's a Ford dealership, and I think they've actually moved with the market, in my opinion. But I used to go there when they were open, and generally all these dealerships I go there when they're open. I'm not trying to hide anything. I'm going, okay. If I have a salesperson come up to me and say, "Look, man, I'm showing my camera. I'm filming a video for YouTube. I do stuff about the market, and show inventory, show prices, things like that." I mean, if you have time, I can talk to you for a little bit. But if not, no problem. I don't want to stop you from making any sales or waste your time or anything like that. And most of the time they'll talk to me a little bit, but usually no issue whatsoever. But this one dealership, I remember there was 4 or 5 salespeople. They were all in a circle, and I walked up to them. This was when the news broke about, can't remember if it was Mach-E's or Lightnings, and I was just asking, okay, I've heard this news about Ford. They just released their earnings. Says they're having a hard go at selling a lot of these EVs. I just want to ask you guys' opinion. What do you think about it? They didn't even break their huddle. Like, I was walking up to them. A salesperson, like one of the 5 is going to be a go-getter and then meet me halfway so they can jump in front of the other guys. They didn't even look over their shoulder or anything. And one of them just said, without looking at me, you're going to have to talk to management. And so I knew that they knew who I was. So I go to that dealership now when they're closed, because I don't want the salespeople to feel awkward anyway, because I know that their either ownership or management has said maybe let's not talk to him.
and as well as I do that the stickers that they place on their cars are what's referred to in the industry as silent salespeople. They're your silent salesmen, so that if somebody shows up after hours, after the store is closed, just so they can browse and not be attacked by a salesperson, those silent salespeople are telling the potential customer everything that they need to know. So if they see a $5,000 dealer market adjustment or a $10,000 dealer market adjustment, that customer's thinking, that's what they want for the vehicle. If they go there on a Sunday when they're closed just to wander around, that customer's thinking, okay, well, they want an extra 20 grand or whatever it is. And so if we would film on a Sunday, we're seeing the same thing their other customers are seeing that are wandering on the lot. If you don't want your silent salespeople giving the wrong impression about how much you're asking for the car, take the damn addendum off it.
All right, new channel right here. So if you haven't already, please like, subscribe. It's free for you, and it really helps us out.
And if you don't think enough of us to like or subscribe, then, well, don't like or subscribe. Either way, just watch, damn it. Okay, whether I was there adding, filming, or on a day that they're closed, or somebody was just wandering your lot. Just do yourself the favor. Get rid of that silent salesperson that's, well, not really selling anything, probably chasing the customer away. It's not that hard to handle, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, and going back to the fun and games, I got kicked out of a car auction and then blacklisted by them. It's a big one,
Yeah.
Odessa. So this was right around the time that Carvana was going through some struggles or whatever. Carvana owns Odessa.
Yes.
And I guess I mean, they didn't want me filming in there anyway. I had the general manager call me. He was nice as he can be. He said, "Look, I like what you're doing. I actually like your channel. But could you just not do it here?" And I'm like, "Yeah, no problem at all. And if you don't want me to film there, no issue, because I still want to buy cars there."
Sure.
I don't like Odessa. I didn't like
Yeah.
Odessa. I was explaining my negatives about Odessa, and maybe that kind of pushed them over the edge. But the next day, I was no longer able to access my online account. Yeah, and so now I do not like Odessa. I do not like Carvana. I have a personal grudge against everyone connected, and I think even like I had one of their drivers on a video that was on, and he pulled up beside me. He said, I would like to ask you a car question. That's what he said. And it was very funny. Yeah. I didn't know who he was, but he just pulled up beside me and said that. And he said, "Yeah, everything that you're saying on your videos, that's what we're seeing around here too." And this was when repos were going through the roof. They went through a time where they had no repos, and then like Wells Fargo, Capital One, Ally was just dumping tons of them at their auction. And the driver told me that's exactly what is happening at the auction. And I even talked to a mechanic there too. I'm glad I didn't put him on the video, but he was saying that he watches my videos and did that too. So hopefully that driver didn't get in trouble. But the manager said, and poor Tony or whatever his name was that was on the video, he said, "Well, we're going to have a long talk with him." And I guess hopefully he was just trying to make me feel bad about it. Which it worked.
Yeah.
But anyway, so they no longer allow me to go in there and buy cars. Not to say I haven't been in there since I've been blacklisted. I just haven't signed up to be able to buy there. But I've also got a couple buddies, so if I want to buy something from there, it still can happen. But anyway, not all fun and games. I go to some of these auctions, and the auctions that I usually show, or the auction that I usually show. Well, I'll go back. There was another bigger auction that I used to film at too, and they asked me not to film there anymore, but didn't kick me out. And this was one of the ones that's local, not the really really big one. I never filmed at that one. I knew that was going to be off limits. But since I was such a big buyer at this local auction that I go to, they're like, "You know what? Just don't film any more here, but we still want you to come buy our car." So I still got to do that. But the auction that I usually show on the channel is a very small one. I know the owners. They've actually gotten business from me doing videos here. Yeah, a lot of new buyers that have come in because they're seeing what cars are going for. And they're like, "Okay, well, we can go buy cars from there." So there's been a lot of at least I don't know, I won't call them fans, but people who watch my channel that are dealers that have found this auction because of that. So
Probably created more competition for you, which is unfortunate, but
yeah, it's funny to say that because even if I have other dealers that want to buy the same kind of stuff as me, they don't have the kind of setup because I can make less money and I can be in the cars, so I can pay more for the kind of cars that I buy and be able to than they can, and still end up selling them for less because I have a mechanic on staff, so all these small issues that they're going to send to another mechanic and they're going to pay $500, $600, $700, we can get a lot of stuff done for $30-$40. So that's another way I can keep my margins. But also I don't have to make as much as they do on cars. I can make $1,200 a car, where a lot of dealers don't even want to. They don't want to crack the door open if they're not making $2,500.
Yeah, exactly.
So in a way, I can still pay more for a lot of my cars than they would, so I can outbid them and still end up selling them for less to my consumers than they would end up selling them for.
So yeah, you've created more competition, but it's not really competition.
Yeah, not really.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. And the titles are something that I hate and I don't like. And if you don't like the clickbait titles and stuff, we started a new channel. If you go to this, it's just the real. It's if you type in the real car dealer, then our new channel will pop up. And we're trying to go the route of non-clickbaity titles, straightforward stuff, and I would anticipate it's going to fail dramatically. Is that the right word? It's going to fail. It's going to fail big time because I think you guys like to click on the clickbait titles way more than you think you do. But I'm tired of them. What about you, Ray?
Well, you know I'm tired of them, but half the time we joke about it. What's our title today? It's done. It's started. It's over, and we're shocked. Okay, well, if people can't tell that you're playing around, well, then shame on them. And some of the stuff that Zach comes up with, and then I hammer him in the first 30 seconds about that title or this title. I mean, it is what it is. It's not what either one of us would prefer, but it is what it is. And you just I would hope that the people that watch YouTube and watch these things, that they're smart enough to know it. They're smart enough to know it before they click on the damn thing. And if they're not and they hate us for it, well, it's not the first time I've been hated.
I remember there was one day, and I'm human, and I get aggravated, and I can get emotional sometimes, and I can get so mad that I'm just going to do something out of spite. And I just got fed up one day about people talking about titles, and I said, you know what? If I'm going to do it, I'm just going to do it, damn it. And I put out a CarMax video, and I said, CarMax is shutting its doors for good, and the whole world's ending. And the car market's imploding. Like, I used as many characters as I could in this title, and it was completely obvious that this was just the most ridiculous, untrue title ever in the world. And I got absolutely destroyed in the comments of this because people actually believed this crazy title that was obviously a big joke. And they just, it seems like everybody on YouTube, no one has a sense of humor. Well, even now, look, stupid. Like, CarMax is not going anywhere. Obviously, CarMax is not going anywhere. It was just the title. And Igor, I'm not calling you stupid, but this is exactly what all the people in the comments were like. CarMax didn't go. Of course they didn't. I'm just obviously this is a dumb title, and I'm trying to troll everyone.
You were trying.
It was not good, and I shouldn't have done it. And I'm sorry for everyone who got mad at me for doing that. And
you were just trying to troll everybody that trolls you. So
yeah.
Get a life, people. Get a sense of humor. Life's short.
Yeah, mistakes were made, and I'm very sorry. And here's where we are. And now I'm still talking about it because I can't stop thinking about it. But anyway, this is what YouTube is from behind the scenes. I get kicked out of a dealership. Ray and Zach get sued, and I get blacklisted at an auction, and then we get pissed off about having to make these stupid titles because if we don't make them, you don't watch them.
So we apologize in advance, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm going to come up with the biggest, dumbest title for this video right here.
If you liked what you saw today, do us a favor right here at CarSense. Like and subscribe. We're new. We're growing. You can't do without us.